place to compare.
Yeah, it is.
For the most part.
Yeah, I really hope at some point we get another venue back, and I'm urging someone out there, please get us another venue again. We would love nothing more than to just do what we used to do and play shows, even if it is just like rinky-dink on the weekend sort of thing. Because I mean, practice is fun, but after a while you get to itching to play in front of people and show off your stuff.
Well, I mean, since you feel that way about it, you should open up a venue, do your own thing.
Yeah, I've honestly tried that several times. It just came down to money issues, and it's just really hard to hold a job here. My situation's quite difficult, and I'm not going to go into that. But I actually, once things start picking up for me, I actually would like to do that. I'd like to rent out a small little, not a big place. I've always been a fan of like the smaller venues, like the Inn in Nashville is a very perfect example of that. Versus the Cedar, that place was so fun just because even if there weren't that many people, it still felt like it was.
Yeah.
Even if there wasn't that big of a turnout, it wasn't tiny to where you couldn't fit anyone, but it was just big enough to where if there were just a few people there, you made it work. It felt at least good, because that was where This Means War, the most successful I've ever been. Well, at the time, in a project, our first ever like CD release show, the first time I've ever done a CD release show, that was probably one of the funnest nights I've ever had. Was that night, was in this small little sweaty venue where nothing else mattered except just having fun with your friends. People were moshing, people were going crazy, and not just for us. The other bands that supported that were with us, Forever Spent Falling, The Day Will Come. That to me just exemplifies why a small venue is so fun to run and have shows in, and that's why I like the lobby so much, is because it's not this big giant stage. If you've ever been to Amsterdam's or the Fallout, I don't know what to call it anymore, but if you go in that stage is way too feels like it's a big separation between the. I'd rather play floor shows in the lobby because it's so much more fun, because it's very small and packed in and sweaty. I'm digging this overshirt thing you got going on. It looks nice. And all over top the Bare Your Teeth shirt.
Yeah, I was just gonna freestyle it, but
yeah.
I figured since you wore a nice shirt, I'd try to look nice in a shirt I haven't washed in a week, but that's okay.
Yeah. I appreciate that footage you took of us, by the way. You made us sound way better than we do.
Try.
There's nothing I get. There's nothing. Let me back up. I'm stuttering so much. There's hardly ever a bigger pleasure I get than just people singing along to your music. When you really get people, willing to pile on in front of the mic, just to get in front and sing along. Even if it is not just that, even if it is just a bunch of dudes just sitting around singing along, you really feel it does give that sense of belonging, and that's kind of what made me want to stick around. I think that's what made This Means War the big snapping point for me, to where it's I got to keep doing this. I got to keep playing music. We're all these people just getting up there and singing along with us, wanting to get the mic, and that's I gotta keep doing this. It's the funnest thing I've ever experienced. But
yeah, that's fun stuff to watch right there. I've never done that myself.
Caleb Brains and the dudes in Bare Your Teeth probably are so tired of it by now. They're probably just just let us do. They've done it so much. Anytime I've ever had a musical project, I've only had about 4 real ones, but the 4 that I've done, they've all been huge learning experiences. Yeah. Because I feel like I've always played something different every time. I'd like to think that I've never, and I'm not glorifying myself, or I'm not bragging at myself, I'm just saying I like to think.
Yes, you are.
Yes, I am. Oh, now I'm a glory seeker, eh? No, I just. No, the thing I really am proud of is just people around here are willing to try more new stuff, more than they were back then. People were, back whenever the scene was predominantly, made up of just metalcore bands. I'm glad that now at least people are trying to do different things. They've kind of said, maybe we could just experiment with new musical styles, and that's a lot of this came from a lot of Fit and Breed came out of that. From me just wanting I've done so many things that are so mainstream. I'd like to do something that's not really well known around here, get people interested in, and I'm happy that there's a resurgence sort of going on. Kayak Weather is going on without me. They're going to keep playing pop punk music, and there's another band that's starting up. There's another pop punk band called Stay Halfway, and I'm looking forward to seeing them. This Means War's other guitarist, and I'm just glad that more bands are wanting to start up again. Although I'm sure we'll probably never have this big thing like we did at one point at Amsterdam's, but it'll just be nice to see people wanting to play again.
Well, even though you're wanting to make something that's not as mainstream, or get people interested, aren't you kind of think about like people eventually like paying so much attention to it that kind of becomes more mainstream than?
I would hope so. I would hope sometime people come and watch us. And one of the things I've always wanted and always said is the biggest. There's nothing that would give me more excitement than to give younger kids, who were my age at the time, would be to give them this feeling of I want to do that now, because like that was how it was going to shows. When you were younger, you didn't have a band. I hope people look at this and be like, that's cool and different. I need to try something like that. And what we're doing is very simple, really. We're just playing like simple chord structure songs. We're just yelling over them. We're not really trying to be heavy. But I guess if people think it is, we're trying to be a different kind of heavy. No chugs. Just plain old good old fashioned like alternative post-hardcore sort of music. But then again, we don't want to genre-ize ourselves, or whatever the word is for it. But I think that would give me great pleasure just to see, get kids being like, we need to do something like that now. Like that, it's kids who've never played music, whether they have or not before. Hello. You're kind of distracting our interview here. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Yeah.
A couple birds over here giving tongue.
A couple birds over here trying to. They're fans. I'm gonna have to sign their autograph later.
Yeah.
I would just love to see people look at this, and other bands like Kayak Weather. Dead to Rights is still going strong. I'd love to see people like that. Even if they do look at bands like Dead to Rights, be like, let's do something like that. Even if it is just that, just get out there and play music. People love to hear that. And, your opinion should be heard. You playing music is just a good release to get things off your chest, and probably in the worst way, because when you're writing about ex-girlfriends, like I used to do.
Those are the best, right?
Like I used to do, and Bones is actually quite an apology for a lot of that. That's actually where that comes from. It was me just saying, hey, I'm sorry I did that, because I was very immature back in the day, because I did that a lot. But that's, even if it is just that, we would love to hear you play music around here. And this guy's working hard. You should support him. He wants to do, I'm sure a lot of places like Sparta, the very few showgoers who are in Sparta were killed to have someone like this guy trying to spark a fire, spark a creative fire in your town. I'm probably not making much sense, but
this is good, man.
I'm sure that, the small towns, there's nothing like a small town scene to me, because that's where it just came from. Kids being bored on the weekends and not having anything else to do. That's why I started it, because I just learned one day, I was like, you know what? Green Day sounds awesome. I want to do that. That's where it came from. That's the first thing I ever did. But, that's where it all just kind of sparked from. I bought my copy of American Idiot. I know, boo hiss, whatever. But that's where, yeah, you can hate me all you want, but you will respect. No. I picked up that record the first, I think it was the month it dropped, and I heard the first few songs, and I'm like, this is it. This is what I'm going to be doing for the rest of my life.
True that.
So, that's kind of, if you want to know if you want to know the origin of Aaron Bilbrey as a musician, that's kind of where it started.
A little bit of Green Day.
Oh, good old Green Day. First song I ever learned was Wake Me Up When September Ends.
Oh, yeah.
I was sitting around. The very first day, I still remember it like it was yesterday. I was sitting down on my bed with my dad's guitar, and I'd made previous attempts to play before, and they never worked out. But I was just sitting there strumming on it, messing with it. All of a sudden, I played. I was like, oh my gosh, that's it. It's like from then on, it was this like it snapped. I was like, this is what I want to do. I want to learn how to play this thing. I mostly self-taught myself. My dad showed me how to. But it was mostly just self-taught. I learned my own chords. I learned everything, and just started doing bands. This rest is pretty much history. Then it went BTC. Then it went This Means War, Kayak Weather, now Fenda Brita. Yeah. By the way, for all of you out there who don't know how to say it, we say Fenda Brita or Fenda Brita, but we really don't care how you say it. It's just one of those things where it's all good. However you say it is fine. we call it find a burrito. You know, that's what I said.
Find a burrito.
We're find a burrito. We always made fun of our band. I think we've always made fun of band names around here. That's another thing I loved is we're always making fun of each other's band name. Like I think the first one that ever came along that was really good was Forever Spit Failing for Forever Spit Falling. We made that up, and people. I made up this one. We called ourselves This Means Whore. You know, I think we made a pretty dirty one for Your Day Will Come. I'm not going to say that right now. You can probably infer what it was. In Spite of Suffering was in Spite of Buffering. Book of Trees, you didn't even have to make up a name for them. That was already funny enough as it is. They had a great name. I think the first ever show. Oh, I'm gonna open my closet and pull a skeleton out of there real quick. My first ever legit show was this crappy little Paramore. This was before Beyond the Chaos. This crappy little Paramore band, cover band I did for my sophomore year Battle of the Bands, and we did FCP Remix by Fall of Troy, which was actually, looking back at it, was actually kind of good. Our version was decent, but you know, we opened with that, and then the rest of it was like 3 Paramore songs with another girl we had. It was really bad, but we called ourselves, we were going to mock Eva Shadows and Book of Trees, and it astounds me to the people still think this was a legit thing. Like, we were going to do this more than one night. This was just a joke. We called ourselves Book of Shadows as a joke. Yeah. We were just being jerks, and, well, not jerks, we were just kind of being smart Alex about it. But it still sounds like, whatever happened to Book of Shadows? Why'd you guys, I was like, it was a joke. It was a one-night thing. I don't know why people thought it was, but I'm proud to say that was my very first, if we're going legit show, yeah, it was probably my first ever legit show. Not proud of it, but it was. Oh gosh. People think it's just minor, insignificant stuff, but you know, this is the kind of thing. Those are the kind of things I will remember. You know, just little dumb things like that. Even if it is a really awful cover band, or if it's what people say is a really good screamo band, like I'm in right now. Whatever it is, you know, it's all good. It's all memorable. And it's all, you know, I'm always gonna cherish it. And, you know.
But making it an honest attempt, though. We know you didn't do it for the passion or the good times or for Green Day. We know you did it for the girls.
Right. Yeah, well, first half of the money, half for the girls. I never really got that many girls out of it. It doesn't matter how good your band is or how fun you are. When you look like this, you can't get a girl. It doesn't matter. No, I did it all for the money. Oh, we're still rolling? All right. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry. Oops. No, it was all for the, you know, passion. I had such a passion for music. And I you know, people always rag about this as passion before fashion, all this garbage about that. And I agree, you know, but you really kind of have to define your terms. I never thought Cookville was really bad for that. Kids around here were never like going to shows just to flaunt their clothes or anything. I just never.
You like my new scarf? You know.
Yeah, you like my new scarf.
I spent $30.
Maybe you had a few. Maybe you had a few people like that, 1 or 2. But if they weren't around for long. They didn't stay. You know, it never felt like. You had some times where it did feel like a popularity contest, but I guess that was more like later, you know, as it was kind of getting older. But Danny Valerio, I'm talking about you. I hope you get to sell this thing. I hope everyone sees this. I feel like, you know, I got a good feeling about this documentary. I hope you get everyone talking. I hope you get show footage. I hope you put in show footage.
Yeah,
and everything.
I'm trying to get some old Live Blood footage from Eli.
Oh, that'd be so awesome.
Yeah.
I don't know. Good luck with that, but
yeah, he says he has some pictures, and he said he might have a couple videos. So if I can get some of that, then
if I knew I could get a hold of some This Means War stuff, I would so give it to you. Although I don't know if I have some kayak weather footage on YouTube. I don't know if that'll help you. You have our stuff. You know,
yeah,
I was willing to go back and dig through the old archives of just every band I've been in. There's no BTC. There's no. I don't know if there's.
Skateboarding champion of the world right here.
Don't record me when I bust my face open.
Nah, you won't bust your face. different bands have you been in?
I've been in several. I started out in a band called Intentions Darken, which turned into By Blood We Were Bonded. But before that was My Last Defiance, which was a band in Cookville. I played for Hero Remains and, of course, Bury Your Teeth. There's a couple other small side projects I was a part of.
Cool. So it's Bury Your Teeth, the plan for it in the near future?
Well, we're taking some time off right now to write some new stuff, and we're working on some new jams right now.
Cool.
And hopefully here in a couple months we'll start putting stuff together and maybe record a new album. We're talking about putting out a split vinyl with Indebrida.
So when do y'all think you're gonna do that?
It's up in the air. It's up to Caleb.
Oh yeah. So besides taking time off to Bury Your Teeth, what are you up to right now?
Just working all the time and doing some things with Wave Lab and with my new move. I'm talking about maybe making Wave Lab portable, where I can go to a band's practice space and actually record them there.
So any bands actually plan on doing that?
Huh?
Any bands plan on doing that anytime soon?
I don't have any bands lined up to record right now. There's a couple potentials, but I don't know.
Cool. So what do you see the local Crossville hardcore scene? Where do you see that going right now, and how has it changed since it started?
Well, the hardcore scene when it first started in Crossville was pretty big. I mean, sometimes you get 350 people to come out and shows. Now it's kind of